Hello, I'm back. I told you I'd be like right back. So it is me again, Tyshina Davis, the visionary compiler of the new book entitled You Need It, I Got It, where I have partnered and collaborated with 16 global entrepreneurs who are sharing conversations on how we can grow our audience, visibility, and influence. Thus far, it has been so phenomenal. I see we got our co-author Yane here. Hey, Yane, Lobby sister. That's what she calls me, so I call her the same. And Yane was on earlier. She killed it, right? She shared great information on education reform, and now I have another one. Y'all gonna get so tired of me saying this, but too bad, because I'll be doing it from now till Friday night. So I have another one of my amazing co-authors, Joyce Kyles, here with me tonight. Hi, Joyce.
Hey, I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait for you to share, because as I just shared when I was closing the last interview with Tanya, that you're really addressing a topic that some people kind of put on the back burner, especially women. We kind of put on the back burner as being entrepreneurs and being leaders. And by us failing to really take care of our holistic self, mind, body, spirit, soul, the whole shebang, there's no way you can help other people grow in anything. Okay, you can't help them grow an audience, visibility, influence.
Right.
And even if you do so, you're still behind the scenes struggling with this thing. So really, you're not able to even operate at your fullest capacity, or maybe reach the full capacity of audience that you could touch, right? Because we're not whole. So I can't wait to address this topic tonight. Hey, Kevin, how are you tonight? Hi, Berna, how are you? We're so excited to get started. So do me a favor, if you're tuning in right now, go ahead and share this broadcast. For those of you who will be watching the replay, share. We are celebrating the Global Entrepreneurship Week for 2017. This is an event that's actually under the leadership of the Hoffman Foundation. And if you're not familiar, you can just look at the hashtag GEW 2017, and you'll see that we are in the mix with millions of entrepreneurs all over the globe who are hosting different events, whether it's virtual events, live events, and it's all in the spirit of entrepreneurship. So it truly is an honor to be a part of that mix. And it truly is an honor to have my 16 co-authors be a part of this as well. So I'm ready to get into the convo. What about you, Joyce?
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Before I get into the convo, I want to share Joyce bio so that you know who you are in the presence of. And I'll tell you, Joyce is a powerhouse. So Joyce Kyles is an award-winning, nationally credentialed speaker, entrepreneur, domestic and sexual violence advocate, and the executive director of Walking Into a New Life, Inc., an organization with the mission of promoting community engagement and sharing tangible resources for individuals affected by domestic violence. She also advocates for male perspectives, support, and inclusion of issues related to violence against women through her Men Against Domestic Violence initiatives. Known for her transparent and passionate approach, she combines more than 20 years of real-life experiences with practical applications and professional training. To further her advocacy, she wrote a best-selling book, Restoring the Whole in My Soul. And she's the host of an online radio show entitled Boots on the Ground, which addresses the intersections of domestic violence and other social points of interest around the country. Joyce is currently married to Jason Kiles, and has 3 beautiful children from a previous marriage. To learn more about this powerhouse, please visit her online at joycekiles.com. Joyce, oh my gosh, you are like such a blessing.
Oh,
Love
as are you.
Oh, I love you more. You know, I love the fact that you're addressing domestic violence from both ends, because it definitely happens, you know, on both ends. And Kevin said, "You go, girl." I know that's right. Right, Kevin, she's the bomb, man. So listen, I want to talk about this. I love your book title, by the way. Is it The Whole in My Soul or The Whole of My Soul?
No, in my soul. Yes.
Before we get into the interview, tell me a little bit more about your book. What inspired you to write the book?
You know, and first of all, thank you for that introduction. It's about, and I hate when people read bios. I know it's a necessary part of what we do, but I always tell people I'm just Joyce, and I just happen to have to share those things. But I'm very, very much an introvert, very modest. But the book, Restoring the Whole in My Soul, was really, in some ways, it's a part about my experiences as a survivor of domestic violence and sexual assault myself. So that's in part where it came from, and that's what the foundation of the book centers around. But it's really about adversity and overcoming adversities. Everybody's life journey is different. And so the process for restoring oneself holistically is going to be different. And so I talk about that in the book. Some people, have gone through poverty. Some have gone through domestic violence or sexual assault. Some people have lost a loved one, maybe a child at an early age or parent. And some people have just gone through different types of issues. And it's kind of to the point that you mentioned at the beginning of how you can't help anybody until you learn how to help yourself, until you've done the things that help to restore you, mind, body, and spirit. And I was very intentional about spelling whole, WHOLE, because I wanted people to really understand it's about the whole person, not just one part, but it's about putting those pieces of your life back together. And you can also journal in the book. So I didn't just write something that says, do this and do this, but I wanted it to be a more reflective book. And maybe you could plug yourself into some of those situations and go, oh, okay, I hadn't thought about that, or I hadn't thought about doing it that way. And so the inspiration of that came really, again, as a result of some of my experiences, but not just mine. It was from talking to other people and realizing that I wasn't alone and that there were people hurting. There were people looking for answers. Exactly. Being very intentional about my conversation with individuals and how could I help them. And my husband he's always telling me about me in writing. And he says, you should write a book. And yeah, okay, one day I will, one day. Mm-hmm. So that day finally came. And here we are.
Wow, that's amazing. So in our book, You Need It, I Got It, you continue to have that conversation about holistic restoration. Exactly what is that holistic restoration?
When I talk about holistic restoration, I'm really referring to the whole person. One of the things that, and that's why I really appreciated having the opportunity to be a part of this particular anthology, was because whenever I would speak with people, especially early on, I always said personally and professionally. And a lady, a good friend of mine, she pointed that out to me. And she said, every time you speak, you say personally and professionally. And I said, well, that's because in order to really be solid in one, you really need to have a grip on the other. I don't think there needs to be a really good balance. Now, there's going to be times when one, tips the scale with the other, but somewhere you've got to try to find that balance. And so for me, it's always been about the holistic person. And when I started this journey, I had no intentions of ever talking about domestic violence and sexual assault, which is my background. My initial interest was in writing the book and it was actually in starting a business, not even writing a book. It was really to build websites and do writing, content writing. And that's really how I got started with this. Really quickly, I lost my job as I was transitioning out of abuse. And so I realized I have children I've got to take care of. I'm still trying to process all of this mental stuff that's going on. And now I'm losing my job. I've lost my transportation. So trying to put the pieces of my life together. And so someone introduced me to the idea of micro enterprise development. I thought, okay, well, what is that? So that was actually my segue into starting my own business. But the business took a life of its own because people would ask me, why did I start the business? And when I told them why I started the business and my background with abuse and losing my job and self-esteem issues, they said, wow, it's great. So I stopped writing for people. People suddenly stopped asking me about writing for them and asked me, can I come and speak? Can I come and train? Can you talk to this youth group? Can you come to this church? Can you come to this seminar? And that was the transition for me from where my personal development came from into the professional development. And how could I merge those together to make myself holistically marketable and then be able to share my message and still help people to grow the way that I was growing. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell for me.
That's amazing. That's an amazing journey. It really is. I mean, anytime, and I think that's the backbone of most businesses, especially businesses that have started out of passion or out of mission. You know, it's just kind of different if you're creating a business that's like that makes scissors and pencils and stationery stuff. It's like, yeah, that's something you like. But when you're creating a business that has a mission behind it that directly affects and impacts people, it's, I think, always great when we can take a part of ourselves. It's our story. It's our backbone that becomes that foundation of what we're developing. So that transition of how you've taken your adversity and improved yourself personally, and then take that and transition it over to the professional side and then build a business out of it. That's freaking tremendous. And that's why I'm so happy that you're a part of our new book, You Need It, I Got It. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that a little bit more. You have this mythology, if you will, where you talk about how you take you know what, let me pull it up because I don't want to say it wrong, because this is Joyce Kyle's mythology, so I gotta have this right. Okay, we are definitely in the presence of a pro, so I gotta say this thing right. But you talk about how you take a story and turn it into a solution. Can you share some light on that?
Sure. And really quickly, since I'm not typing and responding to the messages, but I see them. Hey, all of you, my friends, my colleagues, co-authors, I appreciate the shout out so much and the words of encouragement. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, yeah, I like the idea of trying to find solutions. You know, one thing that I've learned in my journey in terms of being a survivor is that we often would tell individuals to leave a situation, especially domestic violence. You know, we always say, leave, leave, leave. That person needs to get out. But we don't tell them how. We don't give them the tools and the resources to be able to do that. We just say, you know, get out or get over it. But we don't give people the tools. And so I learned a lot of this the hard way. I asked a lot of questions. I got a lot of pushback. And I just decided to take all of the things that my experiences and turn them into life lessons that I could teach other people so that they didn't have to wear, you know, we tell folks, you know, walk a mile in my shoes. I don't want you to walk in my shoes. I want you to be able to make enough money and take care of yourself and go to Macy's and buy your own. You know, I don't want to have people to have to go through those experiences in order to be able to get to the solution. So I always call myself the solution speaker because I have a story, but that story needs to be followed with a solution. Because hey, let's just be real. All of us have a story. All of us have gone through something. All of us are going through something. I was going through something yesterday that was really overwhelming, but I'm going to take that experience and turn it into another opportunity to speak and to share and to write because I believe it'll help someone. So I'm always going to be that person who's going to have a solution for you. If I don't personally have it, I'm going to do my very best to make sure that I get it for you, connect you with someone who can. And in the case of this book, you need it, I got it. Hey, I'm one of the co-authors, but let me be very clear. I am reading it for understanding and learning myself. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's 15 other women in here, and men, because let us be clear, we have a male author.
Here.
I am trying to learn from them. So I am honored to be able to share my insights, but always know and understand I'm trying to learn too. So this book is really about everyone sharing their different areas of expertise, and it's coming together so that, okay, you bought the book. Maybe people who are watching me tonight may have bought it in support of me personally. But what you're getting is the benefit of me and 15 other people. So you're getting a plethora of information on a number of different topics that can holistically help you mind, body, and spirit. And I feel like that's the niche that I bring to this book. And that's the niche that I bring to the communities that I serve, is the idea of having that solution and letting that be the foundation of everything I do.
Absolutely. So Joyce, can you walk us through like the first steps into holistic restoration in terms of an entrepreneur? So let's create an example here. You got a woman who was going through some challenges, overcame those challenges. She has the business. She's operating the business each and every day. But while doing that, as you just mentioned, something happens, difficult situation. Now she has two choices. Either she can stop, drop, and fold, right? Or she can stop, drop, and roll and continue going, right? I'll be honest and say I have those days at least 3 times a week, or at least 3 times a week. I have those moments where I have to stop, drop, and fold. And sometimes in addition to that, while I'm folding at the bottom, I got to pray so I can get back up. I mean, literally. And then I have those other days or instances when it's like, this is hard, it's difficult, but you can't stop. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep rolling. So a woman in business, or even a man in business, who has reached that type of standpoint where they just stop, how can they get in that restoration mode using your methodology of holistic restoration? What's the first few steps to bounce back?
I think the first thing you should do is remember your why. Really examine why it is that you're doing what you're doing in the first place. Because if you can go back to that and really channel in on that, it helps to make whatever it is that's come up in your situation, it makes it easier to deal with. It makes it easier to address. And in your why, also make sure that you have a good support system, meaning that you have at least 1 or 2 people that you can go to and say, look, I'm having a bad day. This, whatever, is not working out. And be honest and transparent with that. Because a lot of times we don't want to tell people that we're in trouble or that we're having a hard time, because we're the experts. We are the go-to people. But guess what? The go-to people got to have somebody to go to also. And we have to remember that. I always tell people the S on my chest is for Spencer, not for Superwoman. Spencer is my maiden name. And so you got to remember that you can't do this by yourself. You have been given something. You've been given a talent, a skill, a niche. And it's all right to balance the fact that, hey, right now I'm not I'm not feeling this. It's not working. It's not coming together. And I gave a keynote address here a couple of weeks ago. And I don't know who of us is listening is familiar with "I'ma Get You Sucker," but that movie, the Black exploitation movie, Jack Spade was the lead character in that. And, he was being nurtured and mentored. And he told him that, you've got to have your own theme music because every good leader has one. So you have to find what works for you to get you back in your groove. Sometimes it's a sabbatical. Sometimes it's just getting refocused and stepping away for a couple of hours, maybe a couple of days, if you can do it. But have your own theme song. Mine, I actually have two. Mine is "I Am Every Woman," Shaka Khan's version. I love Whitney, but Shaka first. And the other,
Shaka's a bad woman now.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's that's a whole nother conversation. But the other one is Prince's "Baby I'm a Star."
Mm.
And you have to listen to the words of that song to really appreciate it. See, you might not know who I am right now. You might not, I'm not the famous, the worldwide, but you need to keep watching me. And that's the attitude. You have to have that confidence of, okay, whatever's going on, I can get past this. I can work through it because I have been given something. So I tell people, don't focus on getting over it. Focus on getting through it. Because if it's been given to you, that means that this is a challenge or an assignment that is, especially if you believe in a higher power. You have been given an assignment and a challenge, and no one promised it was going to be easy. You're going to have some roadblocks. You're going to have some stumbling blocks. You're going to have some challenges. And you have to understand sometimes those challenges come from family and friends and the people that you thought were supportive of you and your work. So those are some of the things that, you just have to come to terms with that and be transparent, be honest with yourself, and remember your why. Remember why you started doing this work in the first place. Because when you can do that, you can overcome anything.
So what I took away from what you shared here is the cure to challenges is confidence and courage.
Confidence, courage, and that mindset. It's got to start here.
It all starts with the mind. So what's your advice for anyone in business right now in terms of growing their audience, their visibility or influence? Let's talk about influence, because I think your subject of personal and professional development, at the end of the day, when we get all of that and we get the courage and we get the confidence and we're sharing the message and we're touching lives, the key question is, you're doing, but is it effective, right? Is it effective? Are you actually creating change or making change in some sort of way? And at the end of the day, are you making an impact?
Right.
What's your advice on how to grow your audience visibility or impact?
Ask questions. Ask questions to the people that you are actually trying to target. One of the things that I've learned in business and in advocacy is that one of the biggest mistakes that consultants make and advocates make is that they assume that people need certain things. They don't ask. And they don't listen when they're being told. You're getting a lot of the answers that you need from the people that you want to serve if you would listen rather than to, interject and pontificate all of your knowledge and your expertise and my book sense and all of the education that I've gotten. But once you set aside, let me just listen. And then let me ask the questions that I need to ask so that I know that I'm being effective. And be repetitive. Check back. A lot of times we don't follow up. We just put the information out there. We don't follow up with individuals. We don't check to see, did this work for you? Is there something that I can do different? We get caught up sometimes in our own hype, or as I like to quote, one's exaggerated sense of one's own importance, that we lose sight on whether or not we're actually helping the people that we say we want to serve. And I'll say this really quickly. For me, one of the things that helped me to understand that I was being impactful with regard to walking into a new life, for instance, is I had been posting and sharing information about assisting people in business and advocacy for about 3 years, grassroots movement. And someone reached out to me on Facebook and she asked me why I'd never become a nonprofit. And I told her I didn't have the money and I wasn't doing it for that. I was really doing it because I just wanted to help people to heal. And she asked me about what projects I must be working on now and that kind of thing. And I told her, and she says, well, do you have an account? And I said, I do. I literally had just opened that account 2 days prior because someone suggested I sell candles. So I thought, she says, well, I'll send you something to help you out. I'm thinking $5, $10, $50 would be awesome. She sent me enough money to pay the IRS for my designation status.
Wow.
I've never met her. You know how we connected on Facebook. So talk about the power of social media. And so I reached out to her and asked her, I said, what made you do that for me? Not that I'm not grateful, but what made you do it? And she says, I just see how hard you try. I see the work that you do. And I'm retired. I don't have a lot of money, but I have a little bit, and I try to give it to people that are actually doing the work. So be visible doing the work. Don't think about your business in terms of just making the money. Obviously, if you're in business, you are doing it because you need to make an income. But let your why be something other than money. Because I truly believe if you let it be fueled by something other than the finances will come. Because the genuineness of why you're doing the work will stand alone. So you attract how you act. So if you put that energy out there that says, I have this business, and be credible in what you're doing, be of good character and integrity, it will speak for itself. A lot of what I've been able to do when you were reading that bio, so much, 3/4 of that has been a result of me just being my true, authentic, passionate self. I love to write. I have been writing since I was in the 3rd grade. I had a 3rd grade teacher that encouraged me to write. And now my writing is what pays me. It's what feeds me. It's what takes care of my bills. It's what gives me that go-to place when I'm frustrated and when I'm tired and things are not working out. I write. You were asking about some advice and some things that you do. I write. But my writing is my passion, but my writing is what pays me now. That's my fuel. So that's what I would share.
That's amazing. That is truly, truly awesome. And you talk a lot about that in the book as well. Being transparent, being authentic, having a heart. And we've been talking about this. This just seems like a consistent theme that has been going interview through interview, but having a heart of servitude.
Yes.
So many people, and Allison, when she opens up in the introduction, she talk about that, how people just want to grab for the money first. I see this person doing it and this person doing it. Oh, I can do that. So now I'm going to just show up and grab for the money. And people see, your success and how you're moving and think that they can achieve the same level of success at the same pace that you have, but they have no idea what you've done and what you've through, and the relationships that you had to build, and the relationships that you had to kill.
Come on now.
You can build them, but it don't mean you keep them. Some of them you need to get rid of, right? Absolutely. So they don't have a clue what you've been through to get that spot and to get in the position where you are. But again, it's dollar signs. Let me just grab, not understanding that there was hours and months of servitude that really contributed to helping you get started, right? And I love what you shared. The money will come. It's so true. It's so true. Even my manifesto as a publisher. So at my company, we have a manifesto. We call it the Impact Driven Publisher Manifesto. And one of the things that I mentioned in there is I know this for sure. When you write with the heart of changing people and the heart of creating transformation, the fortune will come. It's just how the universe is set up to reward you. You know, it's yes. That it really is. So a lot of people ask, you know, what's my secret sauce for success? And I don't have a secret sauce. I just believe in universal law. I am a very, very, very strong believer in universal law. And I truly believe what I put out there comes back to me. So that's what I do consistently, right? Be authentic, absolutely. Be intentional, have integrity, and build meaningful relationships. And when the first little sign I see that, nah, this ain't good for my mind, it's not good for my soul, it's not good for, you know, any sort of association, I'll cut it off unapologetically. Like, right. It's all good, you know. So I love everything that you shared here tonight with us, and I'm hoping that our viewers or someone that's listening to the replay will catch something that Joyce has shared with us and take it and utilize it in your business, in your life, in some sort of way to help you create some sort of growth, right? The book, if you did not get the book, okay, you need to go and get your copy like right now. And actually, so let me put up the link so that you can go and grab your copy of You Need It, I Got It, okay? And I put up Joyce's link so you can go directly to her page and purchase your copy, because this is just a little piece of the conversation. Right. As I'm sharing on each interview today, that the questions I'm asking here are totally different from the questions that's actually in the book. So if the information that we are sharing with you resonates and it sounds good and it feels good and you want more, you need to go get what Joyce has for you. You need it. She got it. Go get it.
That's right.
Go get it. So the link is there. I've also posted the link in the thread. Joyce, is there any last thing that you want to share with the audience on how they can create holistic restoration, or just any tip, advice, anything in general you want to share about business?
I would definitely say to not be afraid to ask questions. Don't go into business thinking that you have to have all the answers and that you have to have a lot of money. I'm really glad that the book that we have done together really speaks to things like that. So I know that there's some others who have talked about that or will be talking about that type of thing as the week progresses. But I just definitely wanted to put that out there, because one of the misconceptions that I had with business was that I was afraid I wasn't able to start it because I didn't have enough money to do it. And if you have a vision, then you'll be given the provision in which to work. And as long as you do it in integrity and in good character and in good faith, and you seize the opportunities that are given rather than being an opportunist, then the opportunities that you need to have will come. The doors will open. The opportunities will be there. They have been for me. And I also, the last thing is, yesterday I was watching Joel Osteen happened to come on, and you talked about people and cutting people off, and that's the other part of business. Don't be afraid of something, because sometimes it's friends. Sometimes it's those friends and those family members that will actually drain you, and you're afraid to let them go because they're friends and they're family, instead of recognizing that this is a business and you have to treat it as a business. And so yesterday he mentioned the fact, he said something to the effect of, people are like clouds. Once they get out of the way, it becomes a beautiful day. So sometimes you've got to get rid of those dark clouds, you know. And the last piece, I guess I would say, in terms of business, is we are so quick to say they are keeping us from business. They are keeping us from being our best selves. They are keeping us from going here and there and exploring who is they. I assure you, they has a name. Be comfortable with saying who they are and move them out of your life so that you can become your best holistic self, so that you can restore yourself, mind, body, and spirit. Get the they out of the way. And sometimes the they doesn't really exist. Sometimes they is the person that's in our head because of our perceived notions of what other people are thinking about who we are and what we do. If you want to start a business, start a business. But go and get the tools that you need so that you can be successful in that business. That's why you have to have, you need it, I got it. Because you have phenomenal men and women in this book that's going to give you those strategies to be your best holistic self. I guarantee it. I am confident in saying I am one of those authors, but I am not the only one. So with that, I thank you, Tashina, for the opportunity to be a part of this anthology. It has been a wonderful experience. And so I'm going to give that 20-second plug that if you are interested in writing a book or looking for that coaching in that direction, this is your go-to person right here. The experience from start to finish has been phenomenal for me. So if you allow me the opportunity to coach, if you're online and you're needing that consultation, I'm happy to do that. But I'm going to tell you that one of my suggestions to you is going to be to work with Tashina. So with that, thank you so very much. This has been a phenomenal experience for me.
Awesome. I'm so happy that you said yes, because I understand that a yes is truly something sacred. People don't have to say yes. So when a person says yes and they open themselves up to the unfamiliar and the unknown, that's a sacred path. And for me as a publisher, it's something that I truly, truly, truly take very serious. My role as being a publisher and helping people take their ideas and their visions and their concepts and bring it to light. But even with my own projects like this, with collaboration projects, I still address it with that same mindset because I understand that people don't have to say yes. They could say no. And I value your input and all of our co-authors' input. I mean, so this is the thing. I don't have any chapter or anything in the book. The only thing in the book for me is it shares my bio and, kind of introduces me as the visionary compiler. And I did that purposely because this project is not about me. It's not about me. This project is about highlighting other entrepreneurs and their brilliance, how they're showing up in the world, how they're changing, how they're dominating their industries, and how they're creating new lanes for themselves. And by doing so, creating new opportunities for others. It's bigger than me. It's bigger than them. It's bigger than the people that they are directly impacting. But it's about the generations to come. It's about the generations beyond. So I was very intentional with not contributing to my own book. And I'm telling you all, if you have not gotten your copy, you need to go get it. I'm going to put the link up again so that you can go ahead and grab your copy directly from Joyce, because we share 16 different topics in this book. And again, this is just day 2. We still have 3 days to go, 12 more live interviews. And it's really, really going to be great. It has been great. Go get your copy if you need it. I got it. And now, for those of you, if this is your first time meeting Joyce, now that y'all, done met or whatever, and you done heard how good and awesome she is, maybe you want to further connect with her. So Joyce, of course, we have your website, and I'm going to put that back up shortly. But how can people follow you and connect with you in the social media streets?
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I would welcome that. I'm pretty much all the major platforms for social media. So I have Facebook, of course, Joyce Kyles. Everything is Joyce Kyles. So LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Everything is Joyce Kyles, just as it's spelled on the screen. So no extra anything, just Joyce Kyles. So I would welcome you to do that. And then once you go to the website, everything is there. Everything about me, how to connect with me socially, how to work with me, blogs, everything takes place right there. So if you go to the website, you pretty much will have access to everything at that point.
That's amazing. So again, Joyce, thank you for joining me tonight. Thank you for sharing with everyone. Thank you for being a part of the project. We have more things to do before we wrap up the project, so I'm excited about seeing you soon on the other side. Have a good night, my sister. Mwah. All right. No problem. So hello. For those of you that are still here, again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for riding with us yesterday, all today. We have more in store. So let me tell you the schedule for tomorrow to let you know who will be in your presence and why you should definitely come and join us. So tomorrow at 12, we have Dio Greenway, and she will be talking about personal performance and how significant that is in business. Then we also have Sabrina Thomas. She'll be coming on at 1 o'clock, and she's talking about special needs parenting, which I find to be a very niche topic as well, and especially in entrepreneurship, because there's a lot of resources out here, but when we talk about the very, very specific needs of the special needs population, we need different type of businesses. We need different type of entities created to address those problems. So Sabrina's going to talk about that. Then tomorrow night at 7 p.m., we have Tracy Mitchell. She'll be talking about the importance of confidence in women entrepreneurship. And then we have Ya Hughes, and Ya will also be talking about emotional wellness. So tomorrow is really going to be a whole day of highlighting entrepreneurs that are dominating in very niche spaces that address issues of women. Because if we're going to be leaders and we're going to build these businesses and lead these businesses, we really got to address some of the things that are affecting us on a day-to-day basis, find out how we can balance those things, how we can navigate through those things so that we can truly grow our audience, our visibility, and our influence. And all of these women that I'm highlighting tomorrow, they have done that. They've just organically grown their audience visibility and influence. So I can't wait to share them with you. But until then, y'all know the deal. Wishing you much peace, light, and love. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great night.